Hi there, how are you all? Welcome to IELTS lunch break with Fabi. Okay, so as you already know, every Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. I will be here, okay, ready to help you with your IELTS exam. All right. And so because a lot of people, they keep saying that they don't have time to study for the IELTS, and I thought, maybe lunchtime would be a great time to do that. Okay, so every Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. I will be here, okay? And of course, our focus will be writing, okay? I can help you with all parts of the IELTS exam. However, I do feel that most people, they struggle with the writing part. So that's what's going to be our focus here, okay? So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Fabiana, but you can call me Fabi, okay? I've been teaching English and the IELTS for a long time. I don't want to say how long, okay? And I've helped a lot of people get the score they need, okay? Especially the so desired 7 in writing, okay? And some of you who know me already, you know that I've been sharing some of the things that I share with my students with you guys here on Instagram Lives, on Facebook, and also on YouTube, all right? So that's my main objective here, okay, to share whatever I can with you guys to help you get to the score you need on the IELTS exam, especially in writing. Okay. So, the thing now is today, okay, if you are not on my email list, okay, you can head to my website, okay, and then you can pop your email there, and every week you will know what the lives for the following week will be about. All right, so if you would like to do that, okay, just head to the website. I'll leave the link down here, okay, and then you can and then you get emails weekly just to know what the next week will be about, so you can watch it, of course. And if you missed this one, don't worry, it will be available, I think, tomorrow, either on I think it'll be YouTube. It'll be available on YouTube. Okay, cool. So the main thing we're going to talk about today is basically the type of English that you need to get your 7, okay? We'll be going through the way that examiners look at your writing, okay? And then, of course, the best way for you to get to the 7, okay? So, I don't know if you know, but the way that examiners look at your writing is based on what they call the bend descriptors. Okay, so if you go online, go to Google and type IELTS writing bend descriptors, you will find one for task 1 and you will find one for task 2. All right, and all of the examiners, they will look at that so they can check your writing, okay? And there is one for the examiners, and there's one that is public that anyone can look at. And that's the one that I'll be sharing with you guys today, okay? So if you really want to look at it, just head to Google and type again, IELTS writing bend descriptors, and you will see all of it there, okay? But today I'm going to share some of the things that you can find there, okay, and that can help you get your 7+. Okay. All right, okay. So if you have been working with the IELTS, if you have been my student, if you've seen some of my videos, you know that the examiners will check 4 things, okay? So they will check task response, okay, or task achievement, right? Then they will be checking coherence and cohesion, okay? And then they will be looking at lexical resource, and they'll be looking at grammar, okay? So basically, task response or task achievement means, did you do what they asked? Let's say you're doing your task 2, and it's asking you to talk about advantages and disadvantages of a specific topic. If you just talk about advantages, you're probably going to lose points. Or if you only talk about disadvantages, you're also going to lose points because they're asking you to do both, okay? And how do they check that? Concerning task response, okay? So that's why you should, so when you think about it, okay, what do they want me to do? That's task response, all right? Cool. Then the next thing they look at is coherence and cohesion, all right? So task 2, IELTS, coherence and cohesion. By coherence and cohesion, okay, they mean actually to, did you do, actually is more about the flow, okay? So how it flows, all right? And if you are using cohesive devices, if it's well organized, all right? So that's the next thing the examiner will look at, okay? And then, so after they've seen if you have done what they asked you to do, if they check, then they check if it's flowing well, if you have cohesive devices, if it's organized, then they're actually going to look into your English, all right? So the next thing would be lexical resource. So by lexical resource, we mean vocabulary, okay? So yeah, so when it comes to vocabulary, they're going to check what you're using, why you're using it, and how you're using it. Okie dokie. And then, of course, the last thing would be the grammar. All right, which is, I think, the thing that gets most people. All right, so for you, if you're doing the IELTS exam soon, task 2, pay attention to your grammar. Okay, we'll be talking about it in the next few weeks. Don't worry. All right, okay, so yeah, so that's grammar. Okay, so so now that I gave you the overview, all right, of how an examiner will look at your writing task 2, I will talk a little bit about the details, but more about the English that you need to get the 7. Okay, so today I will be comparing maybe a 6 and a 7, all right, on task 2. All right, so I'll be giving you some examples on what a 6, what would a 6 look like and what would a 7 look like. All right, cool. So let's get started. So when it comes to task response or task achievement, right, it's basically, did you do what they ask you to do, as I said before, okay? So I do think that the secret to getting a 7 instead of a 6, or going from a 6 to a 7, okay, it is basically to explain or explore more, okay? So if suppose the task you're doing is the one in which you have to discuss both views, okay? So if you have to discuss both views, let's say you have view 1 and view 2, all right? To be a 6, maybe you can mention a few things in view 1, mention a few things in view 2, but if you want a 7, you need to develop, explain, elaborate, okay? So that's what you should be doing with your task response, task achievement, okay, in the IELTS writing, okay? So when you think about this one, it's not really about your English, but it's a bit more about your ideas. Of course, you need your English to express your ideas, but task response is more, I think, about your writing skills. All right, cool. Then we move on to coherence and cohesion, okay? So to me, coherence and cohesion is a combination of your English and, of course, writing skills, all right? So it's a bit of both together, okay? So a 6, all right, in coherence and cohesion would be something that flows well, but maybe when the examiner is reading your writing, it kind of gets stuck sometimes because you can't quite understand, goes back a little bit, but it still flows. All right. if you want a 7 plus, the examiner should be reading, okay, your writing task and basically not stopping and being able to understand everything, all right? Because if the examiner has to stop to try to understand something, maybe it's not clear, all right? Maybe it's not flowing that well, maybe it's not that well organized, so you're probably gonna get a lower score, all right? So that's how they see coherence and cohesion, okay? And as I said before, coherence and cohesion is more of a combination of English and writing skills together, okay? So when I say writing skills, I'm talking about your organization and I'm talking about how it's flowing. When I say English for coherence and cohesion, I mean more related to cohesive devices, okay? So we will have a whole live on cohesive devices, okay? So cohesive devices are the linking words, okay? So, however, even though, in addition, furthermore, those kind of words, okay? So, with my students, when they start studying for the IELTS exam, this is one of the first things we talk about, because as we are noticing, okay, there's a whole section on how the examiner would check your writing, okay, that actually requires you to be using cohesive devices, linking words, connectors, all right? So that's why it's so important. Okay, of course, they talk about the overuse and the underuse of it. Okay, so you don't want to use it too much, but also you don't want to not use it at all, because then you get a low score. All right, so I think that maybe a 6 would be the person using it a little bit, but not too much. And the 7 would be actually the person using the cohesive devices to help with the flow, okay, and also to help with what they're trying to say, all right? And again, remember, there are 2 types of cohesive devices: cohesive devices that will connect sentences and cohesive devices that will connect clauses, all right? To get a 7 plus, you need a combination of both, okay? I'm not sure when, I have to check my calendar here, but soon we will have a whole live only about linking words. Okay, so if you're feeling a little bit blown away right now, oh my God, I didn't know that some cohesive devices you use to link sentences, the other ones to link clauses, okay? But there's a big difference between them, all right? So yeah, but I will have a live soon about that, okay? So pay attention, keep an eye here, all right? And we will talk about that, okay? Yeah, so we talked about task response or task achievement, which is more about your writing skills. Coherence and cohesion, which is more related to your writing skills and, of course, your ability to write well, okay? And now we're going to move on to lexical resource, which is vocabulary, okay? So when it comes to vocabulary, it's all English, right? It's basically how much vocabulary do you know, okay? And how well you can use it, okay? So when it comes to a 7, okay, when it comes to lexical resources, the main focus of the IELTS tasks, right? Task 2, it's to be more academic. Even if you're doing the general one, okay, it tends to be whatever they expect you to do, it's more it's more academic, even if you're doing the general test, okay? So pay attention to that when you are writing, okay? So what could be the difference, right? So you could have words that are quite simple, and think about it. How can I make this better? Okay, so with my students, we always talk about the better words. Okay, and many times I get students who have reasonable piece of writing, not a lot of mistakes, but whatever they're choosing is not really sophisticated enough so they can get a 7. Okay, so my job is to help them to make things better. Okay, so yeah, so that's my advice when it comes to lexical resource. Okay, it's basically just thinking about better words. Okay, and I can't get into exactly, I don't have a lot of examples today for you guys, but there will be a workshop. I'll tell you about that later. We're gonna have lots of examples. Okay, but yeah, so I believe that the best way to start thinking about and using better words, it's probably through collocations. Okay, so through collocations, okay, you don't know what a collocation is, right? Okay, some people don't know. Collocations are words that go together. All right, okay. And what makes collocations interesting is the fact that there are no rules, okay? So you basically have to learn them, okay? So do we say, do the bed or make the bed? Make the bed, you know, that kind of stuff. Oh, I say, do dinner or make dinner? Oh, make dinner. You don't say do dinner, but you say do homework, okay? Yeah, so that kind of stuff. So if you want a 6 or more, okay, or a 7+ on the IELTS exam, you should be using lots of good collocations, but not just using them, but using them correctly. Because a lot of times people, they do choose a few words, okay, but then they can't quite use it correctly. So that's the difference, right? So let's say you try to use a very nice word. I say, oh, this word is good. My teacher told me I should use this word, and then you go and you try to use the word. Okay, but then you use it incorrectly. Maybe you can get a 6.5 because you tried, but to get the 7, you have to be using it correctly. Okay, and of course, also thinking about the spelling also. All right, so that's why vocabulary sometimes is not just choosing the right words, okay? And that's what I wanted to discuss with you guys today, okay? We can talk, so we'll talk more about specific words maybe in future lives, but today I wanted to bring your attention to the fact that it's not just using the good words, the better words, the sophisticated words, it's using them in the right place, correctly, and also, of course, not making mistakes with the words. Okie dokie, cool. And then the last one, grammar. Okay, so I'm going to share something with you guys, okay? And I think this is the thing that has been stopping most people from getting a 7 in writing. It's the grammar. Okay, so I've helped a lot of people, and I've spoken to lots of different IELTS examiners, and they always tell me how the amount of small grammar mistakes, how it affects people's overall score. Okay, so most of the people have been trying really hard to get the 7. They have been having problems with their grammar. Okay, and so most people who come to me with a 6.5 and they want a 7, the first thing we talk about is actually, well, first talk about structure because I think it's very important, and the second thing we talk about is grammar. Okay, so what is the difference between a 6 in grammar and a 7 in grammar? Okay, so basically a 6 in grammar, you are using the word, the grammar correctly, you're making good choices, okay, but maybe your choices could be better. All right, okay, so you're using one specific type of grammar, but the examiner reads like, oh, this person could be using this other type of grammar, but this person didn't want to make a choice, make that choice, but this person chose this one, and there are no mistakes. All right, so it's a 6. Okay, so that's interesting how, yeah, sometimes some people, they have they hand in a piece of writing and I give it back to them and there are not a lot of mistakes, but they still get a 6 and they're like, why? There are no mistakes. I'm like, yeah, but you're not using more sophisticated types of grammar, and that also works with vocabulary, of course. Okay, and so you may make a choice, all right, but let's say that you kind of know that you should be choosing things that are a bit more sophisticated, and you do try, but you make a mistake. Then maybe you could be in between, all right? So maybe you could be getting like a 6.5 because of that, all right? So that's that, and soon we'll have another live, okay, more specific about the types of grammar that will get you 7+. Okay, so to me, one of the most important things if you want to get a 7+ would be complex sentences. All right, so a lot of short sentences can be a problem, but then of course, really long sentences can also be a problem. Okay, so we have to find the balance here. All right, and the best way to go would be thinking about complex sentences. What are complex sentences? Yeah, maybe we can have a live about that. Let me just write this here. So we're talking about complex sentences. All right, yeah, and how do they work? Compound sentences, but I think complex sentence the main thing, all right? Because if you only have simple sentences, you might not even get a 6, okay? But if you want a 7+, you should definitely go with that, okay? And of course, I think that we already talked about linking words, which could be more under coherence and cohesion, but you could also think about the grammar of these words, okay, and how you're using them. So that's another thing to think about also, okay? And of course, the accuracy, as we talked about before, you are going to make grammar choices, okay? And so your grammar choice, when you make the choice, that's the first step, okay? The second step is to use it accurately. That would be the second step, okay? So then you think about it, okay, so I'm choosing this one, but how correct is it? Okay, so that's something that you should be constantly thinking about, okay? And that's why it's so important to do a piece of writing and then, of course, talk to other people, okay? Talk to your teachers, your tutors, get someone to look at it for you and let you know how you're doing. All right, okay? Yeah, so today we talked a little about the type of English you need, okay, to get from a 6 to a 7, okay, or a 7+. All right, okay, and then we also went through all the things that the examiner will look at when they're checking your score, okay? So they look at task response and task achievement, coherence and cohesion. Then they look at your lexical resource, which is vocabulary, okay? And then they look at your grammar, okay? And of course, we have to think about the choices we make and whether we're using it correctly or not. All right, okay, so I think that's it for today. All right, but before I go, I'd like to invite you to my workshop, okay? So today it was a bit of a taste of what the type of English that you need to get a 7+, okay? But I will be delivering a workshop on the 24th of June at 7:15 p.m. Brisbane time, okay, to tell you all about, okay, the type of English that you need to get a 7+, okay? So this workshop will be pretty cool, all right? And I do believe that after watching this workshop and, of course, putting into practice everything we discuss, you will definitely be able to get a higher score on the IELTS exam, on the writing part of the IELTS exam, okay? So join me on the 24th of June at 6 p.m. Sorry, 7:15 p.m. Okay, and if you're watching this on Instagram, the link will be in the bio. If you're watching this on Facebook, the link will be in the description. And if you're watching this on YouTube, The link will be on the description too. Okay. If you want to do something right now to help you get a good score on your writing, okay, for the IELTS exam, head to my website, Fabi English. Oh my God, www. I forgot my own website. That's horrible. Okay, so www.fabienglish.com. Okay, so if you head there, you will find a free mini course for writing task 2. Okay, so that mini course is focused on helping you with the structure of writing task 2. Okay, because for me, the first thing you need to focus on is the structure, because there are 5 different types of tasks that you can do. Okay, so for me, the most important thing you can start with is with the structure, and that is why I devised this mini course. Okay, free. It's all free. The workshop is free too. Okay, the workshop on the 24th. All right, so yeah, so I devised that mini course. It's called mini course IELTS Writing Made Easy mini course. You can do it in half an hour, okay, to give you a pretty good overview of what the writing is like, and that can help you improve your structure, okay, and that can be a difference between a 6 and a 7. All right, just improving your structure. I've seen that happen. All right, guys. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Okay. Yep, I think that's it. Okay, does anyone have any questions? No questions today? No? All right, don't worry. I'll be back on Wednesday at the same time. Okay, so I guess I'll see you again. Okay, on Wednesday. Okay, bye.